What's up everybody, Chadley here, and we are finally covering our Flak Nukem v2. I know I've been saying I'm gonna put this out, but stuff has definitely come up. Last week was all of the takedown challenge stuff, and I was busy this week, so I'm very sorry, but it's finally here. So the other week we had a boost to the Gamma Burst bonus radiation anointment, and if you guys don't know already, this anointment makes Gamma Flak insanely good. This build is actually one of the most fun builds I've been having with Flak lately. It just destroys bosses and the takedown. So it's definitely a ton of fun. And let's just jump right into it. As you guys can see right now, our first gun is going to end up being the Becca with the Gamma Burst anointments. This gun is just good for anything you want to do. There's some scenarios where there's a lot of other better guns, but there's also sometimes the Becca is the best thing you can be using. So overall, the Becca is just nice for any situation, and I definitely recommend getting it in your loadout if possible. I know it's tough to farm, especially on console, but if you can get your hands on one, go for it. Then in our second slot, we're going to have a Queen's Call or King's Call, depending what element you guys want to be using. For the takedown, I prefer a corrosive one. This thing melts any armored targets in there, especially Wotan's lower half. Once you strip the shield off the lower half, you can just pull this out and kill it in about, I don't know, 2 seconds, something stupid. This gun is really good, especially when you're using a strategy that we are going to be using that I'm going to talk about soon. And then we have a redistributor with the Gamma Burst anointment. Now I know this is a tall order, so something else you guys can do besides this redistributor that works still incredibly well is a Brainstormer. Now I actually suggest a non-redundant Brainstormer. This is the only one I've found is a redundant one. With the Gamma Burst anointment, just like a Cash Infused or something like that would be even better. You guys will have to reload it way less often, and it's still going to do insane amounts of damage, because with the Gamma Burst stuff you're just going to be getting so much extra damage out of the Brainstormer. So I definitely recommend that if you guys can't get the redistributor. And then finally, I like to use a launcher in our last slot just because, you know, it is a Nukem build, not necessarily the gun, but we do have that in there. It definitely works very well, but for at least the takedown I definitely prefer the Scourge, especially with the one that we have. The Scourge just seems to destroy anything around you, especially during the mobbing portions. So if you guys are shooting this in pre-Kraken or during the bridge, you guys are just going to fly through it, especially if you keep chucking your Hunter-Seeker grenades, as these are going to pop Leave No Trace for you, and it's going to make it so you don't really have to reload the Scourge at all, and you guys can just melt through everybody with those, so that's really nice to have. And then for our shield, for the takedown, I do like the Transformer, and just overall, I know it's very overly used, but there's a reason for it. We also have a red suit in this build with bonus shock. If you guys want to be rocking Elemental Projector with this build, you guys can throw on this red suit and do that, but I found you just end up dying way too much with the red suit, so that's why I just kept the Transformer on. And then for our class mod, you guys can use basically anything. Right now I have a Deadeye on. It doesn't have the best skills, but I liked the passives it had because I was rocking the Scourge for the mobbing portions of the takedown. But other options you guys can use, if you guys have a friend bot with a high roll in Barbaric Yawp, that is another really good choice. It can give you a lot of extra damage. Bounty Hunter, always good. And then Red Fangs are also pretty good. But these class mods are completely up to you. You guys figure out what works best for you and make that call yourselves. And then finally, for our relic, we're going to be using an Atom Bomb Auto Idol. I definitely recommend an Auto Idol. You guys, even though Gamma Burst will end up healing us, it's still not really enough. And when you're moving around, killing things as much as you are in this, the Auto Idol really helps in keeping your health up at full. And then the Atom Bomb, I definitely feel like I've been getting more damage out of Atom Bomb than even doing like an Elemental Projector with radiation. Now, maybe that's just, you know, me or something, but I definitely felt like I was getting more damage out of that. But if you guys want to be using Elemental Projector with this build, you definitely can. Just throw on the red suit so you don't take that radiation damage. So the main thing that makes this build so amazing to me is there are so many guns that are really good for this. Every single gun in my backpack here basically has Gamma Burst, except for the Conference Call that has bonus boss damage to it. But other than that, everything else just has Gamma Burst. The Conference Call I just use for Graveward when I need to farm him. Otherwise, everything else is good for basically any scenario. Any mobs you'll tear through with any of these guns. But also, 90% of the guns in here can actually destroy most bosses as long as you're like matching elements correctly and stuff like that. So that is really cool and something I really like about this build. It's very versatile. You guys can use whatever guns you want. You're not locked into just, these guns that I have equipped right now. This is just my preferred loadout for the takedown, but you guys can use whatever else you guys want, especially the carrier. This gun is nuts. I definitely put this on from time to time in my real build as well. But let's just go ahead and jump into our skills. So we're actually not using the Stalker tree at all. But we are going to be using Megavore as it is Flak's best skill in my opinion. But to get there, we're going to do 3 and Leave No Trace, 2 in Interplanetary Stalker, 5 in Hunter's Eye, because we are going to need armor damage as much as we can, because we are rocking bonus radiation on our weapons. So then we're also going to be having Head Count, 2 Fang, 5 points into there, 3 points into Big Game, 3 points into Most Dangerous Game, 1 point into Galactic Shadow, and then 1 point into Megavore. Megavore and Head Count just are really good because when Gamma Burst is not up, you guys are going to be doing way less damage, and you guys are going to be dying way more. So just having these two makes getting it back stupid easy, and definitely ends up making you guys stay alive a little bit better. So that is why we are using that. And then in our master skill tree, 3 into Persistence Hunter just to extend that Gamma Burst duration. Then we're going to have 2 points into Ferocity just to get us down to the next spot. Then we're going to put 5 points into Frenzy, 1 point into He Bites. This will allow you guys to get Frenzy stacks way quicker as these reflected shots will actually count towards it. So that is really cool. You guys will be at max stacks basically the whole time as long as your pet is alive. And then we're going to put 4 points into Who Rescued Who to help keep our pet alive. Then we're going to skip down to Barbaric Yaw. This is going to increase our pet bonus. And right now, the Great Horned Skag will have 15% damage and then plus 30% gun damage. If you guys put on that friend bot, especially if you guys have a high roll like a 5 right here in Barbaric Yaw, this will actually get boosted to 25 and 50%. Hopefully it will update. There you go. So yeah, it gets boosted up to 25 and 50%, and this is at all times, so that is really, really cool. And definitely why I suggest the friend bot if you guys want to do that. And then for the rest of our skills, we're going to put 1 point into Pack Tactics just for a little bit extra damage, and 1 point into Shared Spirit just to help keep yourself alive when you get on low health. But that's really it for the build. Let me jump over to the takedown and I can walk you guys through how to play this build and just you guys can see how it does. Alright, so we're over here at the takedown. I'll just walk you guys through basically what I do and how to play this build. So one thing to note with Gamma Burst is you can kind of do like an Amara Phase Grasp cancel to activate your action skill and anointments. So if you guys want to get your bonus shock or corrosive, whatever bonus elements you guys have on your shield and grenades, you guys can just kind of miss your Gamma Burst and it will work. So to show you guys, see, I hit him in the head right there and we get 3 pellets. I'm just going to use my Gamma Burst up here in the sky. And now when we hit him, we get all of our action skill end, and that creates all those extra pellets for our Queen's Call. So definitely recommend you guys use that to your advantage as much as possible. Whenever you see that little Gamma Burst icon in the corner flashing, that is just me spamming that the action skill end stuff. So right now I got Gamma Burst up with our Scourge. So otherwise, we're just going to be throwing our Hunter Seekers and stuff like that. If you guys just see all the little red X's that show up on my crosshair, you guys can see how many people this is actually killing. It's a little nuts. I definitely recommend using the Scourge when you guys can with this build, especially if you guys activate your active skill ends and then throw Gamma Burst on the ground. You'll have all 3 active. So when you guys shoot this, you're going to be doing dumb amounts of damage. That goes for any gun, not just the Scourge. So definitely keep that in mind when you're playing this build. All right, let's take on the Kraken. I'll probably just end up using a Becca on this guy. So I'm just going to look up, use our cancel, and then we can just kind of shred through him. If we could see his back right away, I would personally just use our Queen's Call. But since we cannot, we're just going to make our way through his armor with our Becca here. And, yep, and we're good. So we can just go ahead and move on. I'm just going to shoot a Scourge shot behind us here. 1 or 2. See if we can get some kills. Yep, we definitely can. All right, let me show you guys how good our redistributor is right here on Valkyries. And yep, they're immune already. I will switch over to the Brainstormer in a second so you guys can see. You don't need a redistributor here to do this kind of damage. So here's the Brainstormer. There's actually a lot of scenarios that the Brainstormer ends up working better than the redistributor, if I'm being honest. So if you guys can't get your hands on a redistributor, don't worry about it. Just get your hands on a Brainstormer. It's a lot easier. Then yeah, you guys can see the Queen's Call just wrecks, and we didn't even have Gamma Burst out, so we could have even had more projectiles. And then once we need to reload, this is why I don't suggest a redundant version of the Brainstormer. So hopefully that showed you guys how to play this build. This applies to anywhere, not just the takedown. Whenever you're playing this build, just go ahead and cast your Gamma Burst like at the ceiling, in the sky, off the map somewhere, just so it doesn't actually place. And then if you're fighting a boss, you can do that and then throw it on the ground, and you'll have your bonus radiation, your bonus shock, and your bonus corrosive, or whatever you want to use here, your bonus incendiary. Completely up to you. But once you guys have all 3 of those active, no matter what gun you guys end up using, you will destroy anything. Like I said earlier, all of these guns I have been able to destroy Traunt or Gigamind in just a couple seconds with, for the most part. Basically every single one. Definitely the best ones have been the Carrier, Hyper Focus, Queen and King's Call, and the Craps have probably been the best out of these. But for the most part, all of these will do pretty damn good damage. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this build video, make sure to leave a thumbs up on it. It really helps me out. If you guys want to see more build videos or just Borderlands 3 content in general, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to go in the description, check out the Discord, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. But for now, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.